Welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave, you made mention of it, and today we have two guests on. First, we have Miss Claire joining us right here in the middle. Claire, what's going on?
She's very, very happy to be here. You can see
she's not much of a talker. She won't do a lot of talking on here, but she is looking the part. And for those of you that don't know, let me tell you something. Claire is the Women in Trucking doll that goes out, and there's a story behind that. Before we get to that story, hey, let's go ahead and bring on Ellen. Ellen, good morning to you.
Good morning, and hi, Claire.
She's looking good right here. She's comfortable, and she's. I feel like she's playing favorites towards Sir Rick.
I don't know. We've shared coffee this morning, and we're getting along, great this morning.
Oh, so Claire, talk to us. How are you doing, first of all?
Ellen,
sorry.
Ellen.
Our first time we've ever had two guests.
Well, there's another story behind that. My name is actually Ellen Claire. My middle name is Claire, and my granddaughter's middle name is Claire, and my grandmother's name was Clara, and so that's how Claire got her name.
Oh, well, look at you.
I did. Yeah, well, we learned. There we go. We're always here to learn. You know what?
Feel close to the heart right there. A big family member going on right here.
Well, she's in good hands. I want to make sure you know that. Hey, there is a story, and it comes when you order Claire online. You can order Claire on Women in Trucking website. Go there, order your doll. But there's a story behind that. Bryce, can you read the back of that box for us?
I sure can. Let's do a close-up on Claire while we tell this story.
I like that. I like your strategy there.
Okay. Claire is a girl full of passion and energy. At the young age of 3, Claire picked up her first truck, and it was love at first sight. Her interest in trucks grew as she did, and she fondly remembers watching trucks on the road, delivering food, clothes, and other supplies from one city to another. She always imagined herself in the driver's seat, going down the highway transporting items to people everywhere. As Claire got older, she discovered that the country needs more female professional drivers. She learned that the Women in Trucking Association encourages women to find careers in transportation and helps them succeed. Claire decided to go to the National Transportation Center to get her license to drive a truck and fulfill her dream. The training courses there prepared her to pass her written and driving exams. Getting her license was one of Claire's happiest moments. Today, Claire's dreams is a reality. She sits in the driver's seat of her 18-wheeler, smiling to herself as she drives down the highway.
Hey, Ellen, so here it is. We've got beautiful Claire here. Where did you get the idea to create Claire, and exactly why did we create Claire?
So it's kind of an interesting story. We tried to get Barbie to do a truck driver doll, and Barbie, even Walmart tried to help us get a Barbie truck driver doll, and it couldn't happen. It didn't happen. And I was sitting in a Sky Club in Detroit, Michigan, and this woman sat down next to me. We're both having a glass of wine, and I mentioned something about her shoes, and I said, "Oh, those shoes look comfortable." And she goes, "Yeah, I'm on my feet a lot." And I said, "Well, what do you do?" She goes, "I'm president of a toy company," and it was Habba Toys. And from there on, it was like, can we get a doll made? And so Habba Toys, we designed the doll. We named her Claire. Like I said, it's my middle name, my granddaughter's middle name. And we chose the red jacket because that's our color. And yeah, she's blonde. The goal was actually to have a series of dolls to create and other ethnicities, other hair colors, and have maybe a technician, a safety director. We haven't gone that far yet. It costs a lot of money to buy 3,000 dolls, and we haven't gotten rid of all these 3,000 dolls. And right now they're on sale. Claire wants to get out and go on a road trip, so they're $10 plus shipping right now. So if you go to the womenintrucking.org, click on WIT Mall, and you can get a Claire doll for $10 plus shipping.
Wow, yeah, get that. I'm gonna encourage you to get that. Get Claire for certain on that. Her story, on the back of that box, it was intriguing, and it made me really think about Elizabeth Perez. She's your June member of the month, and it just made me think about how everybody, every driver, every woman in this thing that we're talking about has their own story. Elizabeth Perez, let me tell you, it was intriguing that, what she does, but, she was out working jobs at the pizza. She saw another woman driving that truck, and it kind of drew her to the industry. We've got to continue to push items like that to draw more people in general to our industry. Talk to me a little bit about that, the member of the month, and maybe even Elizabeth.
So every month we tell somebody's story, because if we don't tell their stories, other women aren't going to look at them and say, hey, maybe I can do that. But Elizabeth lived in Mexico, and she lost her father at a young age, and she feels an obligation to help support her family. So she saw a woman, like you said, getting out of a truck and thought, well, I hadn't thought about that. She came to the United States and got her commercial driver's license, and she's running solo and sending money back home to help her brothers go to college and support her family. She's got quite a story. Now think about this. Coming into our country, not really knowing even our language that well, and she loves what she does. She runs 48 states, and she's making a good living, and it's truly I don't want to say rags to riches story, but it's really a story that needs to be told, that if Elizabeth did this, you can do this.
Yeah, and it truly is an inspiration. And again, it's something I love that y'all share this, because we've got to hear these stories to make us realize that it's just, I don't know much about trucks. You don't have to necessarily know something about it to get involved. And in transportation in general, there's so many things, even outside of trucking as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. And Women in Trucking represents all women in the industry. So we do represent safety directors, we represent technicians, we represent, the CEOs. I like to say that the women who design the trucks, build the trucks, sell the trucks, buy the trucks, own the trucks, fix the trucks. We represent all women in the industry, but we also have 15% of our members are men who support our mission to encourage the employment of women in the trucking industry. So anyone can join if they support our mission.
It's a rare opportunity that we have to go out and be inclusive in this industry. If we're going to be successful going forward in this industry, we've got to go out and get great talent, smart talent, genuine talent, and it needs to come from everywhere. And women definitely make up a great part and a great success to this industry. It has changed dramatically over the years, and I'm all for it, and we are for it here. On BCB Live, we truly enjoy. What I like most about Claire is, as I was sitting here, it not only introduces, it's a great story, but it introduces to a younger generation, to the kids out there. It reaches out and tells a story of truck driving, that women are truck driving, and that they are successful at it, and they can go, not just the guy and the firefighter and that, but women can go out and be truck drivers. And they can look up to the doll, not just the Barbie running around in Ken's sports car, but also running around and driving the big 18-wheeler on the road. I'll tell you what, I'm excited by the idea that little girls can pick up a doll and think about driving a truck, a great big truck, and enjoy that, and know that somebody has come before them and done it.
Yep.
Well, that's right. You have to see people who look like you in order to think about doing that. So, going back to Elizabeth, she hadn't even thought about driving a truck until she saw a woman get out of a truck. And that's why we have to tell these stories. We have to show women doing these jobs.
When you talk about her, what other products do you have that you're doing and that you're sharing, and how are you getting those products out?
So we created a Girl Scout transportation patch. We found out the Boy Scouts had one, and so over 1,100 girls, that was pre-pandemic, have earned that patch. But it's called Trucking is for Girls, and along with the patch we have an activity book, and it's called Scouting for Cookies. And in the activity book it talks about how the grain from the field goes to the bakery in a truck, from the bakery to packaging in a truck, packaging to warehousing, and the final mile is the Girl Scout. So we want kids to look at your trucks on the road and say, Mommy, Daddy, that could be my cookies in there, that could be the milk that I drink with my cookies. We want them to have a personal relationship with the trucks on the road. We also have another activity book that talks about a little girl going with her mom in the truck for a day. So, we have because we have to reach the next generation. Again, we have to tell stories and have children look at the trucks and think, I can do that.
Yeah, other ways that we can share the stories that we do out there on the road are through a photo. And photos tell a lot of story. And speaking of photos, y'all have just extended the deadline for the photo contest to June 24th. And another opportunity to speak to the public through pictures as well.
You know, I love our photo contest. I am so amazed that companies will get together and, you know, they'll pose for the photos in front of trucks, and there's we have the judge's choice and then we have the people's choice. So once the photos are narrowed down to the 3 top ones, then there will be judging on them. So check out our website, womenintrucking.org, to check them out. I have not seen this year's submissions yet, so I'm excited.
Also, if you go to Women in Trucking website, you're going to see it is time, and we're in the crunch time. You still have a little bit of time for top women companies, right? Top companies for women to work for. Talk to us a little bit about that as well.
Well, again, we want to tell stories. We want to feature women. That particular one is top places for women to work. We want to highlight companies that are being very gender inclusive. What are they doing differently? Why do women love working for them? So we want to tell their stories so that other companies go, wow, I hadn't thought about that.
Yes.
So it's really, again, really featuring companies that are doing things differently, and us saying, good job, and we want to tell your story.
You also have a show coming up. Is it?
Ooh, the Accelerate Conference is coming up. Cannot wait. What do you got going on for the Accelerate Conference this year?
Oh my gosh, the speakers, we have different tracks depending on what your role is. If you're HR, if you're recruiting, drivers, we bring drivers in. Okay, I'm putting this out in the universe. We're hoping for 1,800 this year. The last time, the biggest show we had was 1,100 pre-pandemic. It will all be inside. It will be at the Hilton Anatole in Dallas, Texas, and it's November 13th through 16th. But we'll have a technology tour. So we'll be featuring trucks that are full of technology, and again, they'll be inside. Our driver ambassador tractor trailer will be there. We've got our new Whitney, it's called, the tractor trailer driven by our driver ambassador, Kelly Lynn McLaughlin, and that will be down there as well. And we've got a simulator in there. It's wrapped with a superhero, and it's got a hands-on learning environment. And one other thing that we just came out with is our new driver portal. So we get a lot of questions from drivers like, how do I choose a truck driving school? How do I, everything from nutrition to, health and things like that. So our new driver portal, if you go to womenintrucking.org and just click on driver, it answers all those questions because we want to be the resource. And you don't have to be a member. You don't have to be a woman either. Just go in there, check out all the resources. We're trying to answer those questions and have a place for drivers to go to get, not just necessarily the trucking questions, but the non-trucking questions that they might have.
Hey, Ellen, I want to go into a little bit of truck parking. We had David Heller on yesterday from the trucking, the Truckload Carriers Association. But before I do that, I watch a lot of trucking news, whether it's Fox News. It doesn't matter what it is. You are all over the place. Your passion for what you do. You probably have 4 or 5 more interviews lined up today. Hey, talk to me about that passion and I mean, how many interviews do you find yourself doing a month, a week? I don't even know how. You've got to have somebody, or somehow you got to keep up with it. But how many of those are you doing a day, week, or month?
It really does vary, and it really depends on what's happening in the industry. So, and the Fox, I actually have a great relationship with Fox News, and interestingly enough, I got a call from them yesterday, and they just said, hey, they wanted to talk about highway construction and how all the contracts that were made with the infrastructure bill, and they can't fulfill them now because A, the materials have gone up so much, and B, they can't get labor. And she didn't want to talk to me about it, but she said, Ellen, you're so responsive, you're a great resource. Do you know someone we can talk to about this? So the fact that they'll actually call me and say, wow, we need a resource, I love it. It's like, hey, when Fox News calls, I answer. But, when you get to be very responsive, and even if they don't want to talk to me about something and I give them someone else to talk to. But I mean, there are some days where I'll do 4 interviews in one day, but then it might be a week or 2 and then there's none. So it really does depend on what's happening out there in the industry.
You know, we were talking earlier, and you discussed something, and you said something that really got to me, and it was just saying that it's a shame that we have to pass laws to treat drivers like humans. I really like the way, and you said it with such sincerity, and I'll tell you what, it matters, right, with what we're doing out there, how important we as an industry, and it doesn't matter where we are in the industry, that we make a definite change for the better.
You know, Representative Silvis from the state of Pennsylvania, I had him on my radio show and at SiriusXM on Saturdays. If you have SiriusXM, it's on Road Dog Trucking. But I had him on my radio show last Saturday to talk about a bill he introduced to require shippers and receivers and retail establishments to allow truck drivers to use their restroom. And it's just so sad that we have to pass a bill to make companies treat our drivers as human beings. It's pretty sad. I mean, that's, it's frustrating.
No, and I hear your frustration. We feel that same frustration. And listen, if you are a shipper out there right now, it is absolutely your responsibility to take care of these drivers. It's absolutely your job as a shipper receiver, as the general public, to take care of these drivers because we depend on them. And if you haven't figured it out, go to the grocery store. If you haven't figured it out, go anywhere. These drivers that are out there on the road, think about the pandemic, they have been our national heroes, and you're absolutely right. It shouldn't be something we have to pass along. It should just be what we do as humans.
Yeah, humanity is not something that we need to be told what to do. It's something that we have to share and that we have to be. And it is sad that it's going to take someone to force somebody to allow somebody to go to the bathroom. That's crazy. But
it is crazy.
It is crazy. And you know what? So what have you got on the table out there? I want to know anything else, other exciting news have you got out there?
Well, in the infrastructure bill, there was a bill that we had called the Women in the Workforce Act, and that was introduced by Senator Moran and my Senator Tammy Baldwin, who's a Republican and a Democrat, so it was very bipartisan. And then my Congressman Mike Gallagher introduced it in the House, and it was passed, and President Biden signed that in November. So it creates a Women of Trucking Advisory Board at the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration. And we're waiting for them to announce who's on that board any day. And I'm certainly hoping that I'm on that board because I helped get that bill passed. But, they don't tell you anything in advance. But they had almost 300 applications to serve on that committee, which,
wow, that's fantastic.
A minimum of 8. The bill required there to be 8, and they represent like an owner-operator, a large carrier, a medium-sized carrier, so different. But yeah, almost 300 people have submitted their applications to be on that, and we should be finding out hopefully in the next week or 2 who serves on that board.
And what's that board's main function going to be? What is their role going to do? What are they going to serve?
It'll be looking at ways to get more women into the trucking industry. Senator Moran introduced the same legislation into the aviation industry to create a Women in Aviation Advisory Board, and they just wrapped up their 2-year service. And it's kind of interesting. I'm kind of watching to see what they did, but it's really, I think what this advisory board is going to do is basically what Women in Trucking already does. Tell stories, get the word out, find ways to address issues like safety, harassment, things like that. So make the industry more female friendly, and also talk about jobs that are available and bring more women in.
If you're looking for a cause out there, listen, we want you to get behind Women in Trucking. You can go to their website, join them, participate with them. We want folks like the Women in Trucking, like Ellen, out there representing us. We've got to do this thing. So I want to encourage each and every one of you to go to the website, join. You don't have to be a woman. You can be like Drive Safe Dave and I, Women in Heart, and we are going to join that and make things happen. Listen, we love what it is that you do. We love the passion that you have, Ellen, sincerely. We love Claire here. I'm going to get her a safety vest. I'm just going to let you know now.
We'll get her a sign.
You know, some drivers, we did a Where's Claire, there's a Facebook page called Where's Claire, and so drivers were taking Claire all over the world. We had drivers in New Zealand, drivers in Canada, taking Claire and taking pictures of her, and I don't know where they got all the clothing, but I mean, I saw somebody, she had a hard hat and, you know, all kinds of interesting accessories. So
Good stuff.
Claire's all over.
That's great stuff. All right, so hey, before you get out of here and before you leave, we want to make sure that you say your name, who you're with, and that you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that?
Absolutely. This is Voie. I'm the president and CEO of the Women in Trucking Association, and I'm with BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.
All right. Hey, Ellen, thank you so much for joining us. Keep going. If you ever need anything, hey, call on us. We'll be there for sure to help out anything you need.
And when you get this board, when you get appointed to this board, we need you back on to talk more about it.
You got it. I'll let you know.
All right.
Thank you, Ellen. Drive safe, Dave. Another, Ellen, this is her third time on it. She ties David down, with being on the show.
Right.
So back-to-back records on here. But again, a cause, president, CEO of Women in Trucking. She has done a job already. Her career is pretty phenomenal anyway. And then she takes it to the Women in Trucking. Dave, you know what? She is all over the place. She's spreading the word. She's talking about, and it's not just women she's talking about. She's talking about the industry, treating people fairly.
Absolutely, and creating a more inclusive environment and adding to what we already have and making it better 100%. And I really like the mission statement. I like how it's working, and I like how it's going out and finding true people to come into this industry and making it better, and that includes Claire as well.
All right, Drive Safe, we're going to take a break, but before, you're watching BCB Live, the safest station in the nation.